What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video,
stop saying tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
We are going to be discussing two workouts that the Detroit Lions held today with free agents. That's supposed to be a guy working out. He's lifting. Let's get it started.
You know, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, you know, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
Welcome everybody to another video. Glad you guys are here. And yes, I will be updating my intro, probably putting some different highlights or things on that. I really just need to find some time to do it. I mean, the news has been kind of crazy recently, so I've been trying to get all the news up. But trust me, we will have that. I've also done two other shows today while I'm doing these. It's been a long day. I'm just saying it's been a long day, but I will be updating that. Today, we're going to talk about the two workouts that the Lions held, but specifically a quarterback the Detroit Lions brought in for a workout, because this is the same day that Matthew Stafford was placed on the COVID list. Now, our hope as fans is that Matthew Stafford tested negative and potentially he could somehow play on Sunday. But the Lions also did bring in a quarterback. Does that mean he's going to play? No. Does that mean he's going to be signed? No. Does that mean he'll be signed to practice squad? No. We don't know. But either way, they brought in another player for a workout. And usually when you see quarterbacks, they're just more interesting. When the Lions bring in a lot of players for workouts. But this quarterback, to me, caught my eye. So I want to talk about it. Also, they did bring in a linebacker, Daniel b.godly, SEC player out of Tennessee, where he went undrafted. You'll see a trend. When the Lions bring in players for workouts, a lot of times they're out of the SEC because of that competition. But with Jarrad Davis, also COVID reserve, I don't expect him to get signed or play or anything like that. But it's something to keep an eye on because he's a guy that racked up tackles in college and maybe has somewhat of a similar build as Jarrad Davis. So if they want a guy that can get some rush from the inside, I mean, they do have a lot of guys that they're missing when it comes to that front seven, at least for this week. You know, Julian Okwara, potentially Austin Bryant. You know, you got a lot of guys out, you know, Jarrad Davis. So I kind of see it. I kind of see here. I can see this guy getting signed to the practice squad, but we're not going to talk about Daniel b.godly too much. I really want to talk about this quarterback, but we'll see. I want to just point that out. I can see these guys potentially getting signed to the practice squad just in case, you know, something crazy, catastrophic happens and we have to go to those players. But let's talk about the quarterback in today's video, okay? And that's Jordan Ta'amu.
I'm made for this. I dreamed about this my whole life. I'm going to do what I can to help my team out.
I'm pretty sure I'm saying his name right. Okay, I did my best. I want to say it a couple times to myself. Jordan Ta'amu. Now, I like this one because this is a quarterback that was with Ole Miss, if you guys remember. He played some good receivers like DK Metcalf and A.J. Brown, and he was in the XFL last season. He was in the XFL. So, some interesting things about Jordan Ta'amu here, and honestly, I kind of like it. I kind of like this workout here, and I wouldn't be opposed to potentially signing him to the practice squad. Now, unfortunately for Jordan Ta'amu, maybe he could have had more experience, but he had to sit behind the GOAT in Shea Patterson. So, I mean, they're not taking over that role, you know what I mean? So, Shea Patterson transferred. That let him start. So, you know what I mean. Come on. You know what I'm saying. You agree. You agree. Now, with Matthew Stafford not at practice today, let's just say for the sake of the video, he won't play, which I don't want to say because I think he still could, and that'd be awesome. Let's just say he won't play. Well, Chase Daniel and David Blau, they split reps in practice. So, technically, they're not saying, okay, here's the number one, but I'm assuming it's got to be Chase Daniel. I mean, you paid him so much money, this guy has to start. Unless Jordan Ta'amu comes in and is like, wow, this guy's just an absolute beast, and we start him. I don't have a problem. I start the better player, but I'm just assuming it's going to be Chase Daniel. But Jordan Ta'amu could be that guy that's signed to the practice squad, since you're down to two quarterbacks, and, you know, COVID can happen to anybody. If one guy maybe has it, then you never know. You have to be cautious. Jordan Ta'amu, though, is an interesting player. His height's kind of weird because, you know, every site says something different. One site says 5'11", next site says 6'3", you don't know. But he's a 6'3", 220-pound quarterback, a little bit of a slimmer build, some mobility there. Like I said, he played with Ole Miss and in the XFL, and he's had some success. I mean, he was arguably the best quarterback in the XFL. Some people said he was the second best quarterback, and that's kind of where they put him, I think, behind P.J. Walker. But the second best quarterback in the XFL, that's solid, right? And Ole Miss, where he played in the SEC, which means you're playing a lot of competition, and you're not on the best team. He had two great receivers, but not on the best team. I mean, Ole Miss, I like it because, you know, playing good competition, but you're not on like an Alabama team. You're on a good team, right? You're on a solid team that has to face competition week in and week out. We know the Lions love SEC players. Bob Quinn does. He always looks for the guys that play that competition in college. And he only did play in 2 seasons, so he only has like 16 games under his belt. But when he played pretty well. I mean, his combined stats are a 64.5% completion percentage, 5,600 yards, and 30 touchdowns to 12 interceptions in 2 seasons. Not bad. But when I watched the film on this guy, the little that I did watch, I didn't watch a ton because obviously I'm trying to get the news out, but the little that I did watch, and from my memory, is that he's not a bad quarterback. And a lot of people looked at him as a sleeper that, you know, didn't end up really anywhere. He was with the Kansas City Chiefs practice squad, and he was put on the COVID list. I know, crazy, right? But then when he came activated, they had to release him. And I'm assuming they did that for room because now he's activated, right? You kind of have to release him. So they released him. Came available, and now the Lions bring him in for a workout. And from what I can remember, and from what I've seen for a lot of people, he's looked at as a sleeper quarterback when he came out of the draft. He did a lot of things well, but of course he wasn't on the best team, and a lot of other quarterbacks are going to get the spotlight. But maybe Jordan Ta'amu didn't get the spotlight that he needed. I mean, he got to be with the Chiefs, and he didn't really get an opportunity there. Maybe he'll get one with the Lions. Who knows? I think this could be a good, interesting player to sign to a practice squad. I would have no problem with that, bringing him into the practice squad. I don't think you'd be at too big of a risk of someone taking him. I don't think you'd have to protect him. I'd be willing to sign this guy to the practice squad, though. So let's talk about it. Let's start with the strengths and weaknesses that I took away from the little bit of film that I did watch. First off, he's not afraid to take shots. This guy will take so many one-on-one shots. It's honestly fun to watch. And I think that's what the Lions need. Like Stafford, a guy that's willing to push the ball down the field, and especially in Darrell Bevell's offense. So I think Bevell's offense needs to change in some ways, but I do like the fact that we do take shots at times. And if you want to take shots, Jordan Ta'amu can do that. He can take shots, and he's not afraid. He's a very confident quarterback. If he thinks he's got a one-on-one, he'll watch it, and he'll take a shot, right? He'll take a shot. If he's got a one-on-one, he's taking a shot. He's going to be scared to throw that ball one-on-one. Like, oh, it could be picked. He doesn't care. If there's no safety over top, it's not double-teamed, he's going to take that shot. He also does a nice job of setting up with a pump fake. And even if there's no one in the area, just faking it on his own can get someone to slow down in coverage, and all of a sudden you got some separation. But I like that. He's not afraid to take shots at all. Also, the mobility. I know people like the mobility of quarterbacks. Jordan here doesn't lack that at all. He had 217 rushing yards on 40 carries in the XFL. Not anything like, I know, ridiculous, but the fact is he can move around. Now, Matthew Stafford, he's fine. Matthew Stafford's good. I'm not saying that Matthew Stafford needs to be super mobile or something, because he doesn't. Stafford has certain strengths that these guys don't. One of them, for example, is his monster arm. Jordan doesn't have that monster arm. Now, he can put a nice little touch, he can throw the ball deep, but he doesn't have a rocket launcher on his arm. I mean, that's what Stafford has. This guy doesn't have that. He's also very confident, like I touched on, and I think he's a very, very good on paper, like as a personality. He has the personality of a franchise quarterback. Not saying he's going to be. I'm just saying he has that personality of someone that, coaches would like. Coaches like him, players like him, but he's quiet. He's not loud, he's not super outgoing, he doesn't make a big deal of things. He's quiet, does his job, and I think that's the kind of player that you want in your locker room. Now, there are some concerns. Lack of opportunities and inexperience. He hasn't played in the NFL, played in the XFL and college, which is good, and he was successful in both. But still some inexperience there. Only 16 games in college, and he really hasn't had an opportunity to play in an NFL game, get that kind of preseason experience. The guy the Lions are working out for the practice squad, so I want to talk about it. Also, at times you could say he gets greedy when it comes to taking his one-on-one shots, and because he will do it a lot. He'll take a lot of shots. And I don't think it usually leads to picks. He's not a guy that usually puts the ball too many times in harm's way, but he will take some shots, and maybe they're not even there, but he'll take the shot just to see if it can happen. I really don't have too much problem with that. His timing routes sometimes I think are a little off. I mean, he has good accuracy, but timing routes like slants, in routes, curl routes, timing, right on the time. Sometimes he's behind, like a slant, he'll throw it behind a receiver. Those little things. I mean, it's something that obviously, you have to work on, and not every pass can be perfect, but it's little things that I look for in that critique in his game. He has a slim frame, which is something to keep in mind, but I think it's a lot of the concepts, things that he has to learn. College, a lot more one read, right? One read. He did a solid job of going through progressions at college, but it's a lot of, okay, here's where you're going with the ball. They kind of set up the play like that. Here's where you're going before you snap it. So, not saying this guy's going to play, not saying he's going to get signed, but if he could get signed to the practice squad, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I wouldn't be opposed to bringing this guy to the practice squad and adding some depth there, because again, we don't know how long Stafford could be out if he's out this weekend. You don't know, right? We don't know who else could be out, and it's always good to have a backup option, even if we don't sign him, just to know that he's out there. So Jordan Ta'amu is the guy to keep an eye on. Also, this Daniel linebacker, potentially the undrafted free agent. Let me know your thoughts. Thank you for watching, and I'm out.
Oh, you ain't.
Are you kidding me right now? I had to put my helmet on for this one. Are you kidding? Look at this. Look at all these members. What? Yo, hey, shout out to all the members, man. Look how many All-Pro members there are. Like, literally, it's the whole screen, dog. This is crazy. The patrons, of course, the Hall of Fame members, man. Y'all got the gold color. It's kind of yellow, but it's supposed to be gold. Shout out to all the members, man. If you want to be a part of this, all you got to do is join the channel. But there are perks that come with it. Stay locked in the community tab if you are a member, because that's where a lot of information comes out. I appreciate all of you. What?